How's it going, everyone? I know this is the day you've all been waiting for. The final release of my finished trophy truck chassis. This is what I've been working on for the last 5 months, and it's finally complete. Can't believe I actually made it this far. I thought it was just going to be some idea that I had, but I actually pulled this thing off. If you don't know, I started out with the wood cage. Make sure everything fit that way first, and then I just started buying some metal, started welding some joints together, and then boom, got a whole chassis here now. So I'm super excited. I actually got it finished. I actually did finish it up a few days ago, but I wanted to just finally bring you guys a video on it, because I know you've all been waiting, especially those of you who have seen the build thread and on Facebook. You've seen progress, so you know it was done, but you just haven't seen a video of it. So I wanted to make sure I got this out as quick as I can. I know it's a couple days late, but I'm sure you guys don't care. It's still out anyway. So alright, so what you're seeing in front of you is my BJ Baldwin inspired trophy truck. It's based off his Fedor trophy truck, which is his older one. He doesn't really race it much anymore, but it's more of a show truck. You've probably seen it in the video Recoil. That's the truck I based it off of. So I fell in love with that truck as soon as I saw it. I love the shape of the chassis. I love how the triangulated supports are in there, and I just love how everything fits in on it. I think it's just a beautiful chassis. So I decided to make this one. Man, I can't even tell you how much I love this thing. It's just everything that I wanted it to be. It turned out great. I actually got all the lines perfect on the back. You see how it kind of slopes in a little bit and then comes back out like on his real truck. I just can't believe I actually pulled it off. I'm so happy. But this is actually all the same steel except for these bottom supports. All 3/16 steel. I used about 22 feet, if you could believe it or not, 22 feet of solid steel tubing to finish this whole thing. And I just weighed it yesterday. It actually came in at 2.5 pounds. So all the metal you see here, without the chassis, just the metal cage, comes in at 2.5 pounds. So if you can pick up your dog or a couple shoes, that's about how heavy it is. And it's actually not as heavy as I thought it would be, to be honest. I thought it was going to be at least 3 or 4 pounds being all solid, but it actually turned out to be a lot lighter. So if I did go with hollow tubing, it would have been way too light. The truck wouldn't have the same, you know, heavy feel, wouldn't drive like it's a heavy truck, like a real trophy truck. So that's why I decided to go with the solid steel. But first, before I take any other things off, I just wanted to give a couple rotates just so you could see it. But yeah, hope you guys like this thing. It took me a good bit of planning and time to finish it, but it's actually finally done. So now I'm going to take the tires off and then show you guys a couple more things. Alright guys, now that I got the tires removed, I'm just going to go over a couple of other things, like how I mount certain things and how I plan to do other things. So if you already saw my other video, you already seen how I mounted the shocks. But now I mounted up the second pair of shocks, which would be the bypass. These would be the coilovers. So these pretty much mount right next to it, and then on the other hole in the trailing arm. And it does bottom out a little bit quicker since the shock is further back on the trailing arm, but I think it's fine because I really don't have to use a bump stop right now, but I still plan to make some. But yeah, it's pretty good. It doesn't really cause too much resistance because there's no oil in here. I kind of sanded down the piston so it doesn't really rub as much on the inner of the shock body. So the back suspension's pretty good right now. I have 37.5 weight right now on the back, and it jumps really nicely. So alright, so another thing while I'm here, I made my own 3-link for the back. I decided to get rid of the aluminum spacers that were on here before, and these are some brake line tubing pieces that I got from the auto store. So I'll be able to weld on it. So I put this plate on top, welded it on both sides, and now it's a 3-link. So it's pretty tough to twist, which pretty much makes it more realistic. Real trucks use a 3-link. Now that I've been doing more research, I found that out. So I made that change, and it drives a whole lot better. It doesn't want to lean over on one side anymore. It's pretty stable, and it likes to drift a lot because it's keeping those tires on the ground. So that was a really big performance upgrade I did to it. So if any of you are struggling for traction, those of you that have your own trophy trucks, I suggest trying this out because it works wonders. So on to the next thing. Alright, we'll go to how I mounted the vent. This is the same vent I had on my old truck, but decided to bend it up a little bit so it fits on this new chassis because I didn't want to make a new one. But these are square nuts that I welded actually onto the cage. They're M4 threaded, so I can thread the screw right into it and it locks in. So that's how I plan to put on all the body panels. I'm going to weld these square nuts, different spots on the chassis, and then I'm going to put the plastic pieces on there and screw them on individually. So for this vent I had to actually put a nut on the back since it's in the inside of the cage and not along the outside like the panels would be. But this is pretty secure, it's not going to go anywhere, and the mounting works great. So that's how I plan to do everything else on here. I guess we could talk about the spare tire now. The spare tire mount is similar in shape to the other chassis because it's based off the same truck, but it's pretty much the same. Has a threaded rod that runs up through here, and I'm just going to drop in my spare tires and lock it down with a nut. So I do plan to get the axial Hankook tires. I think they come on the axial EXO. So I do plan on getting those tires for the actual truck, and then I'm going to get the narrowed front ones to use as spare tires because, as you see, 2 regular size tires is way too tall. So that's what I'm going to be doing for spare tires, and it's going to look pretty sweet when I get those. So next, how I mounted on the front, I made this part come towards the front bumper, and I put a piece of sheet metal along the top of the shock tower with 2 holes. As you see, the body post screws go through that piece and then into the shock tower. So that's how it attaches to the front, and it's pretty strong. There's nothing that's gonna break this thing except for a tree or something. But it's really strong. Paired with these mounts on the bottom, this thing is locked on. It's not going anywhere, and haven't had any bad crashes enough to test how strong this front end is, but I don't plan to, so I really don't want to find out. So I'm trying to keep this thing in nicest condition as possible. I'm not trying to jump this thing crazy, not trying to do any sorts of craziness. So this is my new baby. I'm not doing anything to hurt it. So it took me long enough to build this cage, so I'm not going to do something stupid and dent it up. So that's pretty much it for the cage. Yeah, that's about it for the cage. So I'm going to show you just a quick battery removal, because that was one of the main things when I was playing this cage, was how was I going to mount the battery and is it going to be difficult to get it out. So right now I don't have a center brace in the roof, so it's pretty easy to get the battery out. Just remove the straps, and then the battery just slides right out the window. And then when I want to get a new one, put it back in, slides right back in just like that. So it's a pretty easy battery change just through the side of the window. So I'm not too worried about when I put this brace up here, it's going to get in the way, because I can just use both hands like that. But yeah, the truck itself's not too heavy. I'm actually really surprised. It actually feels lighter than my old truck, to be honest, which is kind of hard to believe, but aluminum does get pretty heavy when you start piling it up, how much I did, along with the steel side guards. So yeah, the truck itself jumps pretty nicely. It handles amazing. I can't wait to show you guys how it handles. I plan to put up a video of that sometime this week, so stay tuned for that. This truck's, honestly, it is amazing. It handles so much better than the other one. Just along with the geometry changes in the back. See how low the top link is? It just handles amazing. So runtime is about the same as my old truck, 6,000. LiPo will probably last me about, I don't know, 15 minutes, depending on how hard I'm driving. So that hasn't changed much. But as far as future plans for this truck, I do plan on painting this thing at some point monster green. So it's going to be bright and flashy. just like his truck. So and oh, another important thing, the body. I do have this Chevy Silverado that I'm going to be using as like a bash body. This is the body I based the cage off, so you can see how well it fits on here. And so yeah, that's the body I'm going to be using for now. And then when I do get some more spare time, I actually am going to design my own body, pretty much so it looks exactly like his, the cage size and everything. So, because on his truck, the cab looks like it goes a little bit further back, and the roof definitely is not this slope. So I'm going to fix that. These fenders are a little bit wide on this one too, so I'm going to make some narrower fenders. And then on the front also, the front is really tall. You can just see how big these headlights are compared to the windshield, so that doesn't look too scale. So I'm going to fix all those things when I do make my own body at some point, but for now I'm going to just paint this one, I think, all black, because I'm not going to be using it for show bodies or anything. So it's just going to be on there to drive with it, to make a couple of videos, so it's not just a bare chassis. So that's about it. But before I go, I just want to show you guys how easy it is to take off the roll cage. So I'm just going to grab my drill and then go at it. Alright, so just unscrewed everything. Now I got the shocks off, and now the cage is going to be let free. So I got it all 6 screws taken off in the front. Now the cage just slides off just like that. So these 4 holes on the bottom, and then these 2 are the only ones that hold this thing on. So that is it. That's, see, look, now I got my naked chassis with the shocks flopping everywhere. So yeah, that's the chassis underneath the cage. So that's about it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I know you guys have been waiting for this thing, so I'm glad I could get this video out for you guys. So make sure to subscribe, because that running video is going to be coming up soon. So look forward to that, and next time we'll see you guys on the workshop. Thanks for watching, guys.